Hi, my name's Maggie Holley, and with me today is Mr. James Schramko.
Hi.
Thanks for talking with us, James. I've got a range of different topics I'd love to pick your brains about, and one of the ones that's interested me personally is NLP and mindset. NLP, of course, standing for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. I've got some training in that, and I try to remember all those principles when I'm applying it to internet marketing, because I think it has great bearing on your results and the perseverance that's needed to actually get results in internet marketing. So I know you don't have any formal training, but I've heard you speak about mindset before. So from your own experience, how do you approach mindset? I mean, have you had a particular way that you've sat down with goals and visualization, as we call it, when you have a picture in your mind of what you want to achieve and you link the two together? What's the process from your point of view? Because I'm sure that you've got one, because you're a major systems guy.
Well, I think if I trace back to my childhood, I would be like other kids. You know, I'd see a kid on a BMX bike and I would want one of those, but I quite often didn't get what I wanted for whatever reason.
Yep.
I'd picture a really nice BMX and then my parents would buy me a crappy second-hand one.
Okay.
And I remember being disappointed about that. And then when I did actually come across a good one, it got stolen. But
oh no.
really the thing that occurred to me was that you can actually control what you get. And probably the book that helped me the most was called Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. And he was a plastic surgeon. And he couldn't work out why people would have surgery to make themselves look nice, but they'd still be unhappy.
Yeah.
So he figured it was a mind thing.
Yeah.
And the whole point of Psycho-Cybernetics is that your mind is a goal-seeking device. So I remember hearing a tape that a customer gave me. I read the book. I also heard a speaker talk about Maxwell Maltz, and I put those things together. And it wasn't until many years later that I'd ever heard of NLP or Ericksonian hypnosis.
Yep.
But I guess they sort of go hand in hand. That the whole concept that you can control your outcomes and take responsibility for thinking about them in advance.
Yeah. Look, I know I was lucky enough, you were just sort of sharing with me a personal, visual and physical reality on that one, where you were saying that you actually moved into the beach house that you had somehow selected and not knowingly put the two together. I've heard somebody else say the same thing, and my experience has been also that when I visualize and strongly commit to the goal and believe it's going to happen and take the action steps, that it happens too. But I think the problem is that for most people there's a fundamental lack of belief in the actual process and a lack of persistence, I think, because that's really important. I mean, and I've been learning that for the last couple of years since I've known you. I've got a thing stuck up on my computer now that says the best part of change often remains obscure until afterward. And I've got push through it, Maggie, bring it on, And I remember seeing you with the picture of make it happen with your car.
Yeah.
So what would your advice be to people about the best way to actually start that process?
Well, in pretty much every case where I've decided what I want, I didn't know how I was going to get it, necessarily the steps. And just knowing what I want gives me that big reason why. And I think that's probably how it works for me.
Yep.
I just know why I'm doing something because I want that outcome.
Yep.
So I'll try different avenues. I'll have a big enough reason to motivate me when things aren't as easy as they should be, and they're often not.
Amen.
So if it's a toss-up between watching an hour of television or creating a sales video that's going to be leveraged and work for me for years to come, I'll actually put the effort into the right now to make a better future now.
Right.
By going through, reminding myself what this is all about. Like, what's the game that I'm after? What's the prize? And for me, I find it helps just to have it handy.
Yep.
Rather than have a black computer screen, I think it's nice to put a picture of something that I like, and quite often I put things that I actually already have.
Right.
Because a lot of the things that I wanted, I've ended up getting. I think all bar 2 things
Right.
I've ended up getting, and so it's really narrowed down the field. And now I actually take some satisfaction in looking at things that I've already got,
Right.
just as a reminder that it was worthwhile, and that the reason things are easier for me now is because I did roll up the sleeves before and put in the effort.
Right. And yeah, absolutely. And part of the process I know with NLP training is that, and I have one, is do you have a gratitude journal where every day, and this is what my coach advised me at the time to do, was to write in your gratitude journal every day 2 things that you are grateful for and something that you're celebrating. So because it helps, the process helps keeps your mind, and you've done the same thing with the screen, helps keep in your mind the positive outcomes and results, and just to be grateful, because I think that's a step that a lot of people, with their eyes on either the past or the future, they miss the present, and I think that's a huge mistake, because we don't know, we can't control the past, we certainly can't control the future, we can drive towards it, but so that's interesting to me.